Hello, everyone, and you're very welcome to the Thursday edition of the Man United Agenda. Cookie's excited, so let's get cooking. Well, ladies and gentlemen, you're very welcome here to the show this evening. And I think the chant that was being sang in the intro is very apt at the moment. We're looking for someone to take us home, to take United home and bring us back to the promised land that we once had. So take us home, United Road, to the place where we belong. Premierships and Champions Leagues, Marche the Holly, as we would say in Ireland. But I want to welcome our glorious panel here, Omundi Juma, and the two P's down below, Pat and Paddy. How are we all doing, lads?
Not bad, Reb. Not bad at all.
Very good. Very good. Good to see you, Rebel. Yeah, it's good to be on again. Well done. Everyone, Pat, yourself. Brilliant.
I'm good, Rebel. How are you, Rebel UK?
Not too bad now at all. I thought earlier on today when we were having the discussion for the prep for this show that it was going to be a nice, quiet show. But it seems, as is the form with Manchester United at the moment, the news bubbles and simmers, and it looks like we have quite a bunny boiler to discuss for today. But on Monday, before we get into the first topic, will you just say a quick hello to the early birds that are catching the worm?
Most certainly, yeah, of course. And these are the regulars we've got here. We've got TalkMU, Column. He's saying Glazers scout, as I said yesterday, but it really means Glazers out. I just couldn't read it properly. HG Gamer saying, I don't care about players anymore. Just trying to fit my club. Throw away social media. Says, yeah, there's a bit of passion in the comments. FT Column again. Matthew Bassett is here. We've got Wildlife Machine. How you doing? He's got a big fist out and Lacoste sticker, or is it alligator or something? Richard Herbert's in the house. Bill Badger, how you doing, Bill, man? Really good comments. Be like Bill, guys. Make sure you comment on the show afterwards. That's what Bill does. We're getting some good discussions. Vincent Bollocks is here all the way from Birmingham. And Go Paul as well. Go Paul, you're becoming one of my favourites and regulars out here. Big up to see you. Lovely to see you, man. MUFC old school for Paddy. You only seem to come on when Paddy comes on.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's your lot for now.
Thanks. Do you know there for a second on Monday, I thought you said Vincent Bollocks instead of Vincent Bullock.
Thank God we're not doing one every week. It did sound like that. But yeah, sorry, Vincent.
Absolutely fantastic. But with that out of the way, let's drop into our first item. And it's a surprise item. And that is the Glazers are in talks to sell a stake to a company linked with fraud, scams, and more. It has been reported that the Glazer family, the besieged owners of Manchester United, are in talks with US firm Apollo to sell a minority stake of the club. As reported in the Daily Mail, the Glazer family have entered into exclusive talks with the private equity company, but insist Joel and Avram Glazer are not prepared to seek control of the company and will maintain their shares. Other Glazer family members are believed to be waiting out and are willing to sell their stake to Apollo. On the surface, this looks to be a move which could eventually lead to the Glazers selling more shares and thus reducing their influence at the club, which is what majority, if not all, Manchester United fans want. The reality, however, is unfortunately significantly different and makes for shocking reading. Apollo, the company who wants to purchase a stake, is a private equity company which buys shares in businesses and expects a profit in return by either selling those shares or taking out dividends at a later date. This in itself could lead to issues down the line. If a majority buyer did come in for United, you could be sure Apollo would want a healthy return on any investment, leading to a potentially inflated price. This may put potential buyers off completely. Things get worse, though, however, as Apollo as a company have a history of accusations of fraud and scams, something picked up by the anti-Glazer movement, Boycott Glazers on Twitter. What's even more sinister in discussing, Apollo seems to still have ties to its founder, Leon Black. This is a man who has a history of allegations of assault and a few other bits and pieces that I won't read out on the channel, and he has links with a Mr. Jeffrey Epstein amongst his circle of friends. This is a fact not lost on Manchester United fans, with a tweet again from Boycott Data stating Apollo Global Management money was used by its founder to support Epstein's activities, is the way I'll put it. And it goes on then to describe in further detail the nature of this company. And Monday, I'm going to start with you. With regards to the type of circles that this company is running, and the potential for down the line problems with a majority sale, does this give rise to concern for us as Manchester United fans?
Yeah, it does. It does. I'm hearing that this is for the first time. But like I say, all business is a nasty business. To make money, you got to tread over people. You got to have a way about you, which I don't really dig. Not my sort of people, businessmen. And every kind of company must have some sort of dodgy story or dodgy past, and especially Apollo. I mean, it's named after a Greek deity, isn't it? Really, and Apollo in Rocky was the master of disaster, and I think we're in for a disaster if we try to sort of get involved with things like this. We're football fans, first of all. I'm learning more about the finance and the business world just by doing the Man United agenda, because of all the links that we have to business. Football and business are intertwined these days, so we have to have a bit of knowledge on what's going on, And it's like people talk about human rights, and people talking about connections to things that are not cool or not trendy or not to be part of. And I from what you said in your opening statement, I'm not going to name names, but you know who we're talking about. There's a lot of dark, dirty things going on, which I'm not willing to discuss on the show, but it's a no from me, Bob.
Thanks very much, Monday. Now, before I pass it to the two P's down below, I am seeing a comment from MUFC Old School that Apollo have chosen not to pursue their interest in Manchester United this evening. So, Paddy, I'm going to come to you first, as you're au fait with MUFC. Does this mean that definitely that these guys are obviously after getting scared away by the fan base, do you think? And obviously, if not, what do the fans need to do to ensure that we don't get linked to these types of individuals?
Well, to be fair, we've got, again, with that just going back to that transfer of, who was the player that we were linked to last week? Not the one with his mother, but the other player.
Arnautovic.
Yeah, well, that was muted, and suddenly that was squashed straight away. I think there's going to be a lot of fan pressure on that. So I think that's what's happened in this case. So I think fan pressure through social medias. Obviously, we knew we smell the rat here, and he's kiboshed it. Well done, thank you. That's great. And I can go and meet a few ourselves, because we're pals. He goes to United regularly, and he's close to the hub at United, and everything's been in their chat. So I can go with the apple of Apollo not choosing to pursue their interest. Thank goodness. So that stopped that in its tracks. Thank goodness.
Thanks very much, Paddy. And now, Pat, in the same vein, now I'm going to move on from the Apollo thing, but it seems that since Sir Ratcliffe has got involved yesterday evening, that there's been a major rise in the share price of Manchester United. So obviously this is feathering the wallets of the current owners. Is this something that is to be expected when there's speculation of sale, that share price does rise? And do you think it's realistic that Manchester United could actually be sold in its entirety in the next 12 months, we'll say?
I expected the share price to rise the moment I saw a tweet from Elon Musk, even though he did say himself that it was only a joke in the comments shortly after, but a lot of people didn't read it correctly. And these kind of things, we've seen what Elon Musk has done to cryptocurrency. He's brought a comment out, and one crypto goes up and one crypto goes down. So yeah, it can change. It can change daily. It's an ugly business when you have that kind of money. So if you're Mr. Ratcliffe and you're trying to get a company, you could always bring out stories about another company to bring them down. And it's not unheard of for that to happen. And the same with the fraud allegations. What you'll hear from a lot of rich people is it's only fraud when you get caught.
Absolutely.
Greed is good. Gordon Gekko, greed is good. Gordon Gekko, Wall Street.
But that being said, now I want to know what our wonderful viewers in the comments think of these developments. We will read a selection of them there shortly. But Omundi, before we do divert, what is your feelings on the Radcliffe situation? Do you think that we'll hear? What's the time frame that you would think that is realistic that something could take place of this magnitude?
I'm glad you brought me, expert on business and finance, on the show today. I should put on my title underneath there. I know nothing about how long these things will take. Hopefully, it will happen before the transfer window closes, so we can get some good deals in. I think, as we said yesterday, there's a lot of discussions on the show. We were talking about, will this change the attitude towards players coming to the club, or have we been waiting for this? Have we known in the background? Which I suggest this could be a possibility. I'm speculating. Don't like to do that, but maybe this has always been on the cards to happen, and that's why we've been patiently waiting for transfers and everything else. Once this goes through, maybe good transfers will come through, and we will have a more optimistic view of our season.
Rebel, a good benchmark for United fans. If something was to come of this, we're not saying something is coming of it, but a good benchmark for Manchester United fans to be able to gauge this was go back and look at a time frame from when Roman Abramovich stepped down to the amount of time it took for the new Chelsea owners to take over and seize control of the club, and when Chelsea actually started spending money under the new regime. And that would be a good benchmark for Manchester United fans to be able to figure out if the club was sold and we changed owners, how long it would take.
I'd say, can I come in on that, Pat? That's an interesting one. I do remember that when that happened. I think there's unusual circumstances because of what the government had to obviously then get rid of Abramovich. I don't know what they used, but obviously they had to use government some regulations to get rid of Abramovich out of Chelsea, and then the club actually then were in limbo. I think that was unusual circumstances, Pat. I'm just, correct me if I'm wrong, but would this be different with this buyout? I don't know.
Well, we don't know, Paddy, because there's talks of the company being broke as well. There's all sort of talks and rumors and allegations. We don't know which is true, but if there is talk of Manchester United hit the skids, not this year or the end of the year, or if the Glazers have no more money in the company to invest. Another way, a good benchmark of reading is go back and look at Liverpool, because I believe that was when they got rid of Gillette and Hicks. That's when their company was about to hit the skids, and you could be able to see how long it took for them to take over. And I'm sure if we got a Liverpool fan on here, they'd give us a good explanation for how long, because they'd have to relive it and explain it to us.
Well, I was going to say, lads, the best expert that I heard today was Kieran Maguire, who's the football finance expert. I don't know if you've come across him. Again, he does a great article today about why would the Glazers sell the club? It's not for sale, but they're reluctant to. So everything we've heard so far in the media yesterday, and you guys were talking about last night here, nothing's happened as yet. It really hasn't. So it might be a false dawn, really, because the Glazers don't have to sell. They just don't. They can take the dividends out of the club. But Kieran Maguire, pretty good. He's a football finance expert, lads. Please check him out. He's got the ears to ground on these deals. So really, just look at his stuff.
Now, just come in there. I did do a bit of reading on this particular topic today. The first thing I did notice a comment about why didn't Sir Radcliffe get the Chelsea gig, and I believe that there was 100 bids from what I read for the Chelsea ownership, and this was basically a water test for him in terms of signalling that he was in the market for a football club. Is the story that I've read there. And with regards to the Glazers and the sale of the club, what I have heard is that there's, again, among some speculators that are watching the financial side of this, is that there is problems with maintaining the interest payments on the loans that are mounting year on year in terms of servicing debt that United need to find the financial commitments to. So that plus the targeting of sponsors and obviously Glazer-owned properties does seem to be giving pause for thought to the Glazer family as to, an exit strategy with a certain amount of money in pocket. But on Monday, a bit like the Glazers and the financial speculators, it's time for us to speculate with our viewers. So will you give us a flavour of the comments before we press on to the more transfer type business today?
No problem. Wildlife Machine saying no to those scammers. Vince Bot saying most companies are dodgy pass. Did you know 8 out of 10 cars on the roads all have a dodgy past? HG Gamer saying, just going to say it, the Glazers are evil if they want to put more debt on United. So he's concerned about the debt. Colin is saying, in a way, it's not a bad thing. It's going to the Glazers are businessmen. This means they will only sell at a higher value. The stock going up means they're going to be more open to selling. Like it did go up, the stock didn't yesterday. Bath Time saying it's mad that a Man United fan, you need to have a good grasp on investment banking and takeover strategies. We do. If you know, 26th of December, says Colin, should all happen. That's as in time. It was Vincent Boat saying, as someone who has a business qualification in OCR, I would like to say up to 6 months, definitely before the end of the season. So that's the time limit. Richard Herbert saying, Rebel, I know we're down in the dumps, but blows a kiss from the camera. MEFC Old School said, Ratcliffe's bid 4 billion for Chelsea rumours on social media. His bid is only days away. Okay. I'm not reading that right, but you can get a good drift of what he's saying. HG Gamer say, I'll take anywhere between 6 months and a year, that he agrees. I'll be stunned if they manage to do it within 6 months as Bath time. So you can see the scale of time that our guys in the comments are talking about, 6 months to a year. And sorry, Viking Red, how you doing, man? It's me, Omundi. Nice to see you. Viking Red saying, hi, everyone. Hi, lads. It just reminds me of a bank called Newcastle Rock. Does anyone want to expand on that? Was that a corruption or...
Northern Rock. It was a bank that was had to be bankrolled by the government in the last credit crunch. I think it was in 2010-9. I think it was. Okay. Had to be bailed by the government. I think they went belly up. A lot of the banks did with the credit crunch. So yeah, interesting.
Good shout. Good. I knew it was something dodgy. There you go.
Thanks very much on Monday, and thanks to all our wonderful commenters. But now it gets a bit light from here. We're going to go into some transfer business. We're going to start with a person whose future was speculated for quite some time, ever since he didn't attend the preseason tour, and that is one Cristiano Ronaldo. Now we do have a graphic, and I will have a small bit to add at the end of this. So Monday, if you wouldn't mind taking this graphic away for us.
So, Borussia Dortmund offer Cristiano Ronaldo a way out of Manchester United. Man United forward Ronaldo set his eyes on a move to Dortmund, with the German side contemplating on adding the star to their ranks. Journalist Ben Jacobs reports that Dortmund represents the last chance for Ronaldo to get his wish of an exit away from Old Trafford. As per Jacobs, Cristiano Ronaldo last chance of leaving Manchester United is via a transfer to Dortmund. Jorge Mendes is actively working on a move. This news follows a report by The Athletic earlier in the week, which indicated that while Ten Hag was initially reluctant to let the 5-time Ballon d'Or winner depart, the Dutchman is now more open to the move. Jacob seemingly reiterates this, stating that the United boss felt blindsided by the 37-year-old and that the tension was still rife between the pair. Oh dear. Erik Ten Hag felt blindsided, he said, by Ronaldo's absence in the pre-season, and there's been still some tension between the pair. Ronaldo is not fully convinced of Ten Hag's tactics or the manner in which he runs the training sessions. Ronaldo is still trying to remain professional, with firm denial from his camp that he's eating lunch alone or causing dressing room factions.
Thanks on Monday. And just to add to that, there is a report out there that Dortmund have no interest in Ronaldo. Despite earlier reports, as outlined by Omundi there, it seems that Dortmund have slammed the door shut in Ronaldo's face and are set to reject the chance to sign him in a report by Bild. The German news outlet reports that Dortmund will not be exercising the opportunity to add Cristiano Ronaldo to their ranks. This is despite both the player and his agent pushing for the deal, with Edin Terzic's side being seen as Ronaldo's last chance of an exit from Old Trafford. Cristiano Ronaldo will not join Borussia Dortmund despite wanting to move and being offered by Jorge Mendes. So it is looking like Cristiano Ronaldo and Mendes are not going to get their wishes, and it seems that his only option at this stage is to remain at Old Trafford. But on Monday, I'm going to come to you first on this. An unhappy Ronaldo, despite his quality and what he brings to the table, is it more disruptive in the long run? And given the fractious nature of our panel at the moment, is it someone that we need to extradite from the situation at this point and maybe eat some financial compensation on?
I think it's down to the manager. If the manager feels he can't work with him and the relationship's broken down, then he needs to tell the board he wants to let this guy go, because it's not going to be good to have that sort of relationship. You're trying to play by the rules and get everyone on side, and you got one player who's not just if it was like a sub player or someone on the bench, it's a different story. But when it's Ronaldo, he has so much influence, and if Ronaldo's seen as sort of cussing the manager behind his back, or just sulking, or just throwing his arms up, or just creates a bad atmosphere. So I would say come out of the club. You need to come out of the club. If you can be professional, look at Donny van der Beek last year. He went along with it. You can see he wanted to play and do things, but he went along with it and was professional. The difference is Ronaldo will not be professional. If Ronaldo wants to leave for a Champions League club, whatever, let him go, and let him go peacefully. We don't want to create some bad tension here. You talk about player power and all that kind of thing. This is manager. We've got a manager in charge. The manager should be in control, and he should be able to say to them, sorry, the relationship's broken down. If I continue to work with this guy, he's going to undermine me. He needs to go. And I think that from the body language and from this report I've just read out as well, there does seem to be a lot of tension there. So if he can't deal with it, make sure he leaves before the transfer window is gone, because it's not going to help us.
Thanks very much for that, Omundi. And before I come to the two Ps down below, I do want to take this opportunity to mention that, of course, we will be doing a watch-along with our resident commentator, TalkMU, on Monday night for the big game against Liverpool. So do let us know what your thoughts on the game are, and what the scoreline you reckon is going to be. Obviously, there will be a preview show later on in the week, but there will be a watch-along, so make sure you do come along and support that. But I'm going to come to you first, Pat, actually, if you don't mind. And how big of a factor is to believe £550,000 wages of Cristiano Ronaldo when a club is weighing up whether or not to take a chance on him?
Yeah, it's it's criminal the amount of money that he's on. But anyways, he's Cristiano Ronaldo. And if you were to ask me the question, do you want to keep him in the side? Yeah, he's fighting fit and he's scoring goals. Who doesn't want Cristiano Ronaldo on his team? But look, at the start of all this saga, it was kind of half of what I hear and half of what I see. And I was only getting what I'd hear from Sky Sports, saying he was back in Portugal and he was training in his own complex. He was given this temporary leave and the club is all happy with it. But now since he's come back, I'm not too happy about the body language I'm seeing on the sideline. I'm not happy with the way he's talking to Erik ten Hag. And you don't have to be a genius to figure it out, the way his body language to him when he's trying to communicate with him and give him simple instructions, even by the way he walks off the pitch. It could be just down to frustration. I kind of hope it is. But before September, I think we're either going to see Cristiano Ronaldo terminate his own contract and go to somebody as a free agent, or he's probably going to knuckle down. I'm hoping he knuckles down and gets on with it, but it doesn't feel that way. It feels more like he's going to cancel his own contract and get out of here.
Thanks very much for that, Pat. I'm going to move on to another player, Paddy, because we do have quite a few to talk about tonight. And negotiations are believed to be progressing in respect to Casemiro. I just have a short little brief bulletin. Manchester United appear to be making moves to sign Real Madrid midfielder Casemiro. Reports began doing the rounds over the past 24 hours, with the Athletic suggesting talks between United and Madrid were progressing. Meanwhile, BBC Sport claim United will need to pay around £60 million to prize him away from Real Madrid. But what is believed to be the attractive proposition for Casemiro is that we are prepared to give him a longer-term contract. And despite the claims that we were going to double his wages, Fabrizio does state that while he does get an increase in wage, it is not near double. So I'm going to come to you on this one, Paddy, first, because myself and Omundi did speak on Casemiro yesterday. At the £60 million valuation, does this represent somebody that you think needs to be brought to club, obviously given our midfield woes?
Yeah, I'm going to say 100% yes. Okay, he's 30, but have you seen what he's won? And also, the Brazilian coach calls him his competitive leader. Now, we haven't got any leaders in this team at all. Now, I know it's going to take him time. If he did come in, we bought him to slot into the lineup. But if he's look, I want the captaincy changed straight away. So I think that if he comes in and takes the captaincy of Maguire, great. If he becomes a leader on the pitch in that midfield and becomes a combative leader like he does for the Brazilian team, then great. And we really do need it, but we need an enforcer more of an enforcer in this midfield. And Casemiro, for me, and what he's done for Real Madrid, and his medal total says it all. His quality, isn't he? He's been the top 5 elite in the world. So for 60 million, I know we won't get any resale value on him, by the way. It's looking good. I think we need that. We need a Roy Keane in there type player. Not saying he's good as Roy Keane, but I really do. I watched a lot of him today and read a lot of what people have talked about him today. But when his Brazilian manager talks about him being his combative leader and captain, I go, yeah, good for me. Good for me.
Thanks very much for that, Paddy. Pat, now I'm going to spin this slightly different when I drop it to you. How significant would be bringing in this type of profile of player? Now, we were linked all summer long with a Frankie de Jong, and obviously that looks very unlikely at this point. But would Frankie de Jong, if he had a ride, needed someone like Casemiro next to him in the midfield engine room to obviously dominate the play?
Of course, this fella's he's like a bulldog in the midfield. Let's be honest, we've got a bit of what feels like after the past 2 teams, we've got a bit of a wimpy spine that needs strengthening. Now, would I like Casemiro at the team? Yes, I would. Do I think there's any truth in this? The only reason why I think there's any truth in this is because Casemiro signed a new contract on, I think it was the 24th of August of last year. He still has another 3 years to go on his contract. That makes me believe that he's either considering a last contract with some big money, or it's all smoke. If he had a year left in his contract, I'd be like, yeah, he's not coming to United. He's just looking for a new contract. The fact that he has 3 years left, there could be a possibility in this, and I'll be happy to see this man coming. He has a good injury record. We all see how good he is. He's a hard worker. He's a winner. He's not coming here like a botched up player like what we got with Varane. So if there's truth in it, I'd be very happy to see this man.
Thanks very much for that insight, Pat. On Monday, now obviously you've given your spoke on Casemiro, but is there any different thinking in your mindset now since yesterday with this developing news? And how would you think he'd integrate into the squad given the other gaps that seem to be apparent in our needs?
It's important we need a midfielder. That's the one. He's one of the best midfielders in the world in his position, a position that we actually think we need to fill. Someone who can sit back deep and do all the kind of things that Pat was talking about, be combative, to be intelligent, have IQ, good touch on the ball, be able to link the play between him and his midfielders and him in the defence. He's got it all as a player, and he's got the mindset as well of a winner. And we need to have more players of that in our squad. As Paddy was saying earlier, it does create a better atmosphere when you're winning and you've got players around you. Someone, I think it was Viking Red, mentioned Roy Keane earlier about that sort of mentality. So in Casemiro, sorry, I keep saying that. He's not Cuban. In Casemiro, you do have all those attributes in a player, which is really good. I just want to quickly go to the comments here. Barthan saying thoughts on potential of Maguire captaining Varane, Ronaldo, and Casemiro. Obviously, those 3 are winners, multiple winners in the Champions League with Real Madrid, and they're all known to each other. And I think now you're looking at a case where you might be captain by having the armband, but a lot of these players can sort of like do the job themselves. There's 11 captains on the pitch. That's how it should be. You might have one captain. Sometimes you can have a token captain, and it's looking like Maguire could just be a token captain just to the end of the season. And on the pitch, you've got leaders like Ronaldo, Varane, and Casemiro. And Ronaldo possibly could be a lot happier if he's those 3. Look at that, the spine of Varane, Casemiro in midfield, and Ronaldo as a forward. That's the spine of a winning team. And if you want to be pushing forward and being strong, that's, we can't go much more wrong than that. The only issue is that 2 of them are over 30 and one of them is injury prone.
Yes, indeed, Omundi. Yes, indeed. But before we hit the comments, there's a bit of rapid fire transfer business to be discussed, and I'm going to take one of these ones first, and that is a departure. And today I'm reading stories that Lindelof is currently being pursued by Jose Mourinho and Roma, and Eric Bailly is being fluttering his eyelashes at Aston Villa. If the 2 of them were to depart, how significant is our problems at centre half? And again, I'm going to have to start with you on Monday because you're the defensive coach here. What would your mindset be if we were to see 1 or 2 of those players leaving without any further additions?
It's about balance, isn't it? Who have we got at the moment? We've got 4 guys, I think, and that's fine. If you've got 4 good centre backs, as in Lindelof, Bailey, Martinez, Varane, and Maguire. Actually, that's 5. So 1 can leave. I'm quite happy with 1 leaving. And I think out of the 2, I would rather Bailey leaving. That would be much better for me. And I'm going to go because I think the dogs are going a bit crazy in my house.
Yeah, I think what Omundi's saying is, like, Lindelof, like, the sad state of affairs for Manchester United and keep centre halves is we have to go in and keep our centre halves for who's fit. So we have to keep Martinez, Maguire, and we have to keep Lindelof. And then it's a toss up between Jones, Bailey, and Varane, who we get rid of. So obviously we've only bought Varane. He probably has the highest contract. And look, he is the best defender out of 3 of them. But so realistically, we can only afford to get rid of Bailey at the moment, unless we bring somebody in first.
Absolutely. Now, Pat, I'm going to, Paddy, I should say, I'm going to come to you with this report. I read yesterday that Sam Lockhurst and a few other journalists were stating that Mr. Phil Jones was being trialled in the 6. What is your thoughts on that? Or is it another effort at winding up Manchester United fans?
I can't believe you just said that, actually, Rebel. You know my views on that, that player who's been at this club for far too long, was given a buffoon contract by a buffoon, Ed Woodward. Sorry, not for me. Jones should have gone a long time ago. Same with Lindelof. Another mistake waiting to happen. Another one with Bailly, another useless defender and not the standard of this club. I don't understand. I mean, Aston Villa, just around the corner here. Yeah, they're Bailly. I mean, they got Mings there. They got whatever. Yeah, great. I mean, I'd like to see them both go, but you've got to be realistic. Unfortunately, we can't get rid of all our defenders because we'll have no one left. And considering what's happened the last 2 games, but it's a sorry state of affairs that we've got to rely on these players when we should have the standard in this defence, which hopefully Ten Hag will bring in. But going back to your question, then, Rebel, Phil Jones, I'm sorry, mate. I don't understand why we'll still consider him at the back. No way.
2 seasons, if you can't cut it, he should be gone.
Sorry?
Yes.
2 seasons, and if you can't cut it, he should be gone.
Who's that?
That should be for anybody, any player at Manchester United.
Yeah, 100%. And I don't understand why this pandering has gone on for too long. I don't understand the incompetence, not knowing that these players are not good enough at the back for us, has gone on for far too long. I just can't work it out. What has gone on here? It's
because
total...
the club is run like a business, Paddy, and not as a football club, and we're all aware of that. So, unfortunately, we're going to have to persevere with that for the next while until it all filters out.
Sack them all.
Speaking of perseverance, I'm going to have to persevere on because there's still quite a bit to get through. And Simon, I'm going to have to defer the comms just a slight bit more and get this topic moving. And that is the pursuit of a number 2. Asmir Begovic and Jan Sommer are the 2 goalkeepers that are currently being linked at the moment. I'm going to ask in a word and why, which one of those 2 you'd pick, starting with you on Monday, and we'll go around then to Paddy and Pat after.
I like Sommer. I like the Sommer and Sommer. Sommer's Swiss international. He's played at a higher level. I'd bring him in. I think he's performed well when I've seen him in international duty, and he's been around a bit. He's played a lot of Europe, and I'd rather go for him. I think he's better suited than Begovic, who's like a big, long piece of string, old school goalkeeper. He doesn't fit the bill as in distribution. I think Sommer's distribution is a lot better than that.
Paddy, you're next.
But thing is, from what I've read, is he looks good. He does look good, but apparently, I think he'll probably remain at the club according to Bild. I think he's having contract talks with them. But Begovic, probably, I heard that talk today. Maybe a better fit. So we do need backup in that department, definitely. So we can have someone good. But Sommer, I suspect, may stop at Borussia Mönchengladbach. I think he'll stop there according to Bild. So that's quite a important source, isn't it, Bild? So they put their ears to the ground there. So I don't think it'll happen.
Thank you, Paddy. And bear in mind what Paddy has just said there, Pat, about the likelihood of Sommer remaining. Do you think Begovic features high enough to be an adequate number 2? And is he different enough that if the need for a tactical adjustment was called by Ten Hag, that he could actually state that I can drop De Gea and use a more free distributing keeper in Begovic, or is there much of a muchness there?
See, I've seen both goalies before, and I would rate both of them, and I'd gladly take either one of them as a second choice. But my only problem is now, it's only since I've been watching the Monday's eye test with Barton that I realised the actual requirements of these goalkeepers and playing out with the back. So, do I know if these two have the qualities? I'd have to be honest. I'm not too sure. Okay. Are they rated highly enough to come in as a number 2? I wouldn't be over excited about either one of them, to be honest. I think with Tom Heaton there, I'd rather get somebody with a bit more quality that's going to be a standout keeper and eventually take David De Gea's place.
Thanks very much, Pat, for that. Now, on Monday, it's been a while since we've delved into the comments, and we'll have a bit of a mixed bag because we've gone through quite a bit. But give us a flavour of what's going on there.
No problem. So Viking Red saying we should swap Ronnie for Haller. So Ronaldo for Haller, but I think he's unwell at the moment, isn't he? I hope wish him good health. I want to say hi to Sam, Spurs for Life from Paxton Road, which is a really good Spurs channel, one of our umbrella sister channels. So go and check them out. For good laughs, he's saying, "Oh Lord, let me get the butter kiss." And he's obviously on a high at the moment, enjoying Spurs.
Can I just wish him the best of luck in pursuing real trophies to replace the cardboard cutouts that are on the stadium tours at the moment as well?
Good for you, Rebel. I was going to be nice, but yeah, they deserve that. Wildlife Machine saying Ronaldo should go. He's setting records first over loyalty to Manchester United. Good point. Viking Red saying he's buggered on too many wages, has to take a pay cut. Bath Time saying get rid of Ronaldo. I'm afraid you can't have a 38-year-old superstar that doesn't run during the rebuild. Gaming Loader, best man on TikTok for Man United. Big up to Gaming Loader. If you're on TikTok, check him out. And he's going to be coming on the show very soon, aren't you, Gaming Loader? He says good evening to everyone else. Real good guy. Bath Time saying no one else wants him either. Talk about Ronaldo, which is true. He's struggling. Viking Red says the mantra should be if you want to play for United, then that should die for the badge. How he misses Roy Keane. Ronaldo's on 500k a week. That's 26 million, he thinks, said Bath Time. MUFC Old School says, look, Ronaldo was our best player last season, scored 24 goals. You have to replace that if we let him go. So he's saying you do need Ronaldo. Whereas that's countered by Bath Time. He says, without Ronaldo, we score more goals as a team. So that's a good discussion to have. Going to come further down to sort of more non-Ronaldo issues. And we're talking about defenders, weren't we? So, but MUFC Old School was saying Bailey was a great player if he wasn't made of glass. Bath Time saying he always believed in Phil Jones. Wildlife Machine saying Maguire is that one that should go. Bailey was way better than Maguire, he feels. We've been told to relax, like Frank Goes Hollywood, says Viking Red. Asking a question here. Wildlife Machine says, why are we keeping Maguire? So he's definitely disappointed with Maguire. Your man down at Villa there, Mings, Viking Red is suggesting we swap Bailey for Mings, Paddy. MEFC Old School saying a highly rated Leeds keeper. He's good with his feet, isn't he? The youngster. He's been on our radar before. And we talk about goalkeepers. Colin said the issue is Sommer. He won't come to be a number 2 at Manchester United. Viking Red said we needed a sweeper keeper like the Atletico keeper or Black. And just want to say hi to our lady of Man United Agenda, Emma, who always comes in with some great comments. She's saying, just keep Heaton as number 2 and train up the academy keeper to fit Ten Hag's system. So that's a good one.
And before we come on to our closing topics, I do have a breaking bit of news. Fabrizio Romano reports that Casemiro will be holding talks with manager Carlo Ancelotti about his future. No clear resolution appears to have been reached as at this hour. And it looks like he's talking to Ancelotti with a view to possibly making the move, as Real Madrid believe they're well equipped to lose Casemiro, having both Camavinga and Tchouaméni on their books. That being said, though, it's time to move on to another bit of news, and that is, again, I'm going to touch it briefly. Garner is being pursued by Southampton, and a fee of £50 million is what they are proposing. Obviously, given our midfield issues and no transfers having yet been agreed for that position, how disappointing would it be to sell Garner? And isn't that fee a bit paltry given the potential for that player? And I'm going to start with you, Paddy.
Do you know what? Everyone's been raving about this kid. He played well for Forest last year. At Monday, I think, commented on it quite a lot last year. Watching him. Thing is, it sounds like he's not being given a chance, and it sounds like that Tender doesn't rate him because they're getting rid quite early on, which I'm quite surprised about. Which I don't know where they've come to that conclusion. But I'd like to see him have a run in the side. But if they're going to sell him, then fine. But that's the way Ten Hag has made that decision. Hopefully, it is his decision, and that's it. But he hasn't proved it in the Premier League yet. That's the thing. But he's probably better than what we've got at the moment. To be fair, if I'm being honest with you, but he doesn't deserve a chance. He's a bit early on. It's a bit surprising, a bit shocking that they're doing it so just like that, which is okay, you know. But yeah, I don't work that. Look, get a fee as you can for Garner. If they're going to get rid, if the decision's been made for him to go, get as much money as you can for him. But it depends on where he's going to go, who's going to have him. So it'll be interesting.
Pat, over to you.
I think it's absolutely crazy that we're even contemplating this or even discussing it. Letting Garner go is crazy. I'd love to keep him at the side. I'd love to see him be given a chance. He hasn't even been given the proper chance. If he hadn't been injured in the pre-season, I think he would have been probably starting by now.
Absolutely. And I think your sentiments, gentlemen, are being shared. Bill Badger saying he's a 30 million player all day. Viking Red saying this is a joke. He loves Garner. FTB Cullen saying the sale of Garner is a joke and a mistake. And Vincent is saying, I think they're putting a buyback clause in as 15 million is way too cheap for a player of his quality. He's the last Manchester United player that actually has a medal. And then Emma saying, gave Garner a chance. If he's not cutting it, sell him in January. But moving on from Garner, and it's the second last topic of the evening, and that is a hands-off order has been issued by Dortmund with regards to Manchester United's pursuit for right-back recruit reinforcements, and that's Meunier. I'm probably butchering how it's pronounced. And this is despite Paz pursuing Aaron Wan-Bissaka, with them being believed to be interested in having him return to the club. On Monday, I'm going to come to you first on that. Obviously, we are leaving the business of getting another right-back a bit late, but you'd hope that there's a list of candidates there. But Aaron Wan-Bissaka returning to Palace also, how key would it be then to have significant backup or possibly even a first-team right-back brought in?
We got a guy on the up, which could be Dalot. Maybe there's a higher ceiling for him. I don't know. Depends what the manager thinks about that. I think he can improve. I think there's a lot of things where he could be a player of the future. And if we let him go, he might go on and progress to be a good player. I saw him at AC Milan, and when he was on loan, I thought he was a good player, and he's come back now. Just confidence. You've got to get behind the guy and see what he's got. This season's crucial for Dalot. We do need backup. Like you say, if Wan-Bissaka's not getting a look in, he's going to go back down to London. We need to get someone to fill his boots. And I think a 30-year-old Dortmund player is a good backup, because it's someone who can come in, is maybe fight as a squad rotation sort of player, similar to Tellez, who came at the sort of late 20s, almost 30 years old, and come in and challenge, but still have the quality. And I think Meunier has got the quality, and he could do well for us. He's good. He understands his structures as well. Having played for Dortmund for a long period of time, he's a good player. So I think he's a good signing. It doesn't fit the age bracket, but I just think it's a short-term goal, for a short-term measure, to get a player in just to fill the boots and just give Dalot a challenge, and not say to Dalot, you're out of here, because that's saying to Dalot, you're still number one. This guy can come in and you can have a bit of rotation here. So Dalot must be feeling a lot of confidence when he sees a player like that, rather than someone like the 19-year-old Leon defender. If he came in, it would be like, wow, this is one for the future.
Thanks very much for that on Monday. Now, Pat and Paddy, I'm going to come at you with a slightly different topic, and it is our final topic of the evening before we go to a last few of the comments, and that is, as Colin reported there, that Yannick Carrasco is under consideration by Manchester United. He is an Atletico de Madrid winger, and it's believed to be a last-ditch effort to get some forward reinforcements into the club before transfer deadline. This is believed to be one of 5 more signings that Ten Hag wants before September 1st. First of all, I'm going to ask you, how credible is it that we could get 5 signings done between now and September 1st? And do you know much about Yannick Carrasco, and would he suit the needs of our forward line? Pat?
I have to be honest, I don't know too much about the lad, but if we were to get a winger in at the club, it would be excellent. We have to get strength and depth in the sides. But currently, we brought 3 players in. We've let 7 senior players go that would have been getting into the team and rotating. Do I think we're going to bring any more players in? The answer would be no, because I think we've done our business. That's it. They've left it too late now, and any player they're going to try and get, they're going to play over the odds. If we do get one player, it's probably going to be the likes of Casemiro, and it's probably going to be well over the odds than what we could have got him for at the start of the season. The start of the window. So they're going to they're going to shut up shop after they sign one player if they get it. So if we get one additional player at a high price, I think we'd be lucky.
Thank you very much. Paddy, is 5 more signings realistic as the report suggests? And do you have any insight into Yannick Carrasco?
No, Carrasco, I haven't got no insight at all on. But 5 signings realistic. I mean, the way these buffoons are going around Europe now, looking for desperado tactics, trying to get all these players in. I'm just wondering where we're going to open it next. I mean, that is a worry for me. I mean, just going back to Dalot being gone, yeah, definitely for me. And Wan-Bissaka to Palace, yeah, go for that as well. We got to get class in, but like Pat's right, time's ticking. We're doing these deals too late because of the incompetence of these Murta, whoever's doing it. It's like mad panic. It's like the last minute sale on New Year's, with the sale when they're all running, when it happens on the 1st of January, or is it the 26th of December, where they all run into the store and looking for the best bargains. It's a bit like that now. It's a bit embarrassing for us as a club, as this elite club as we are. It's mental. So will we get the signing in? Maybe not. I don't know. And also, De Jong, is that dead now as well? Who knows? It's madness.
Absolutely. And Monday, before I do come to you, there is a report that confidence apparently is now high that Manchester United can reach a deal for Casemiro, but that is just some breaking storylines that are coming across. But on Monday, over to you. You want to come in on that?
Yeah, Carrasco is a good player. He used to play as a winger. He's been at AC Milan a long time, but he plays more of a wing back now. We played against last year. You had the dangerous guy on the left, and Carrasco is sort of guy who, if he was fit, he would have played on the right-hand side, Good, solid player. He gets up and down. He's a marauding guy. He can travel, no problem, all day, 90 minutes playing for Diego Simeone. He was at Atletico Madrid, then he got a big deal in China, and he came back to Atletico Madrid. So he obviously likes it there, and he puts the work in. Croatian guy as well, international player. I think he'd be great for us. A bit like Tottenham have bought a guy, what's his name, the Croatian guy from Inter Milan, Perisic, sorry. And he can play wing back, and he can also get up and down, and he used to be a winger as well, similar like that. But with this guy, you get extra quality and extra technique, better than any right back, as in playing high up the pitch. And wing back or maybe right back, he could fill in and do a good job, and he can also fill in midfield and in the forward line as well. So that's a player that will give us squad rotation and fill many roles as well. He's a very good player.
Thanks very much, Omundi. Now, a little like our opening team song, take us home with some comments.
Okay, so obviously there's a lot of chat going on. They're just wind up with the Ghana stuff. Bill Badger says Ghana is 30 million all day. That useless striker, Ruben Brewster, was 20 million from Liverpool. He went and his career has gone downhill now, hasn't it? It's really unfortunate. Bath Time saying, I'm not sure about Ghana, to be honest. Sell him with a buyback clause. That's a good one. I want to say hi to Sports Chris. Welcome back, man. You always give some good comments. He's saying Ghana need to go. We United fans always hyping up these young players and lose them for free. MUFC Old School says keep Wan-Bissaka. He's a good defender, and Brandon Williams can either play left or right. So they're saying keep these boys. Colin saying let Spider-Man as in Wan-Bissaka go. He's not good enough, and there's much better options than Meunier. MUFC Old School saying Delo is awful. I've watched him. He's our weakest link. He also goes to the games with Paddy. Bartham saying I appreciated your last comments on Tuesday. Sports Chris. He's talking to Sports Chris, who we spoke about earlier. And feel free to drop by any time. So there you go, Sports Chris. You're getting a big endorsement here for your comments. Viking Red also dropped some good comments saying, lads, my brother's a AFC fan. He says United are chasing Pepe. So we want Pepe, do we? Pepe Le Peur. Viking is also saying Pulisic on loan. Pulisic on loan from Chelsea. That's been going around today. And lastly, column with the data saying Carrasco is last season left wing, 34 appearances, 6 goals, 6 assists. Last season, a few injuries in his career, but nothing that really worries him either. And I'm getting a correct pronunciation.
Perisic.
That's not right either, is it? Perisic? It's
Perisic.
Perisic. Okay, there you go.
And on Monday, just one more.
Oh, big up JP87TB. TM, sorry. How you doing? He's saying good evening to everybody.
Thanks very much for going through the comments. Now, I'm going to come to that point of the show, and instead of any other business, I'm going to call it the last word today. So, Pat, what is your last word for this evening's show? You're muted.
I'd like to see Casemiro come into the club. It would lift spirits, because I think we're all a little bit deflated and down at the moment. But we're not over and done. It was only 2 bad results. It's going to take time. It's going to take Eric Ten Hag, and let's all keep the chin up, lads. And it's all going to get better. Onwards and upwards.
Well, I'm going to Liverpool on Monday, and I'm going to drive there with it, hopefully. And I'm concerned at the fact that what the result could be if Liverpool do turn up. But obviously, the most important thing is that the protest is important. That we show our strength at the protest, which has been arranged, because that's the most important thing we need to do now, to show these parasites that we need to change things at this club. And also the fact that we never know with this team. Liverpool haven't played well the last 2 games, but my concern is at home that we don't chase and run as we do, and we don't come up to scratch, especially at home as well. We should be really, really up for this game. It's a big game, Liverpool Man United. But it'd be interesting to see at the game how they turn up. But let's see what happens. It depends on what the lineup's going to be. If he makes some major changes and brings in some real off, curveball choices in that team, it might be. You never know. But I'm going to give Ten Hag some time. Like you say, it's going to take time. And Casemiro, as Pat's just suggested, brilliant. Be great to see him come in. It'd be great. That'd be a breath of fresh air, I think, in that midfield. It would be. I'd love to see him there. That's me.
Thank you, Paddy. And on Monday, your last word.
Last word is this: I'm more focused on the Liverpool game. Paddy, you won't be watching it because you're going to the game. You'll probably be outside the stadium. But I will be watching it, and because I've got to do a show on it with a beautiful bath time afterwards. So there's a lot going on, which is good because we've had nearly 7 days to prepare for this game. I'm sure the manager's doing that. I've heard rumours, don't know how true they are, that Donny van der Beek and Garner could be getting into the first team for this game. So maybe the manager's going to mix it up and switch it around, like Paddy was saying just there. But I'm really confident because they've had Nunez got headbutted the other day, or headbutted the defender the other day. It shows that he could be pushed around. He can push his buttons and get him sent off. I think he's not going to be around. Firmino's just come back from injury, so their front line is not very good at the moment. They haven't really clicked. I think the midfield, they've got a lot of players out as well. Virgil van Dijk, I think he's sort of plateaued. He's a great player, but I've seen him get beat, dribble past a couple more times than usual lately. So and even we did it when Ahmad squared the ball across to Palestri. He had no business in that move, that little cut across. But anyway, I think we could beat Liverpool, and I think it will be a massive result for us because the fans will start to be a lot more positive and think about, and especially we get signings as well. I don't think they'll be able to play, but it's building up. This is our last game of August, and after this game, it's all about who we're bringing in.
That's incorrect. It's our second last. I'm going to have to correct you. It's our second last. We have one more in August.
Oh, really? Because there's a joke going around that if we don't score against Liverpool, our goal of the month will be their own goal.
Unfortunately, the guys that were trying to take the mickey out of us didn't do their research. And there's actually 2 games remaining.
Good.
But
I need to get back at them then. Thank you.
My last word today is, and I'm going to steal a phrase from the learned Jay Motti. If Sir Jim Ratcliffe can get an offer on the table, I hope that the Glazers take what is there and fuck off. But from us, have a great evening. Goodbye, good night, and good luck, and we will see you down the road.